Well, Savan, you asked me to come and check the new program, and since we are friends, so I thought of coming and checking it out. And I think this is a very good program. But as of now, since my daughter is doing quite good in school and all her math exams, I think we don't need this program.
I actually hear that a lot, and I'm really glad you put that out in the open, Manjula. Which grade is your daughter in?
She is in fourth grade.
Right. Now, and since we're friends and I can openly ask this question to you, let's say she's doing really well in math right now, and based on our conversation so far, I understand that she's already participating in some competitive exams at school level, and she's doing great in terms of her performance that I know and I've noticed. Now, though she's doing well right now, I personally believe that she should need somebody who can constantly coach her to keep up the good work that she's doing, right? Think of, let's say, a very good sportsman that you know. Who can you think of right now?
From India, Sachin.
The cricketer, right?
Always.
Now, think of anybody that way, and not just Sachin. In fact, Sachin is somebody that I like too, who's like a very good batsman and who's very well known. I have his picture as well. Like, now, he has been coached since the time he was in school. Since the time he was 5, he was coached by his family members. Since the time he was in middle school, he was learning how to bat and the techniques from Shri Ramakant Achrekar, who's a very well-known cricket coach in Mumbai. Now, it is true for any pro athlete who's training for excellence, right? That they had coaches when they were young, and they also retained the coaches after they became the pro athletes. And even if you look at the education, I have some important statistics for you. In the year 2017, there were about 11 lakh students who wrote the IIT assessment, the IIT JEE, the entrance exam for getting into IIT, and there are only about 10,000 plus seats, which means only 1% of students get into these colleges. Now, even this 1% would have been able to do it because they had a coach, right? Not necessarily they're formally going to a coaching center. Probably they had a senior, they had their mother or father, they had probably an elder sibling who's coaching them really well. And the most important aspect that the coaches do is they challenge the ability of the player, they challenge the ability of the student per se, and they set higher targets for them to achieve more excellence. And this is something that is impossible for somebody in school to do, because they have like 40 to 50 children to take care of, and with that kind of a class composition, it gets very difficult to the school teachers to do that. You as a mother can do it if you have that kind of time and expertise, or it has to be done professionally by coaches, and this is exactly what QMath can offer. Now, QMath's personalized learning journey that we creates more challenges for children, and that improves the way that they're learning, also that improves the ability that they are gaining through the learning process. And because there is about 7 times more personal attention in QMath classes as opposed to the schools, children are learning with a higher impact. Now, usually within a span of 5 to 6 months, you see that the reasoning ability of the children doubles, and their scores start showing improvement. And it's very easy to show an improvement from somebody who's doing who's scoring 60% right now and push them to an 80%, but it gets very difficult when your child is already scoring 90% and when you want to push them higher to make them reach 100% or a 99% goal. So that's something that we focus on. And as opposed to the school system right now, there are multiple formats of learning that are probable in QMath classes, right? We use the tab-based activities for building aptitude skills, and we use puzzle cards to build creative thinking capabilities, which are otherwise not focused on in the school system. And this way they get more engaged, and we allow the students go with the pace which is higher than their peers if they're doing well. And this allows them to do well in school, but also they start being comfortable with syllabus outside the school system. So even if you don't want to enroll right now because you believe your daughter is doing really well, I think my personal opinion is that you should consider coaching her to continue the good work. And if you want to coach her, there is no better program than QMath, at least at this point of time.
Okay.
right? So when do you think we can start her classes?
Let me, I'll have to discuss it with my husband. Let me go back and discuss it with him, and then maybe we'll give you a call and tell you the final decision.
Yeah, sure.
So Savan, I really like the program and the idea behind the program. But then when I think about my kid, I think he's too young to start with a program like this. He's just at first standard.
But why do you think this is too early for him to start?
Because I think whatever is being done in school for a 6-year-old, I think that much is enough. We can always focus on, if he misses on something, we can always focus on that when he grows a little bit older, maybe 5th standard or something.
Right. So you think that starting so early is basically something which is not required? You can think of this program when she reaches 4th or 5th standard. Some interesting ideas that I want to share with you, right? There is a very interesting research that was conducted in some universities where they identify that children who are showing exceptional math performance or math proficiency during their younger ages, like 1st, 2nd standard, 3rd, 4th standard, are actually doing well even when they reach the high school stage and the college stage. That's done by some of the major universities, and they found this out. And in our personal observation as a math program who's been around for almost 6 years, and as an organization that is experienced in teaching math for more than 10 years based on our CEO's experience, when children are getting exposed to math, in India at least, the first thing that happens is they get exposed to math as a matter of fact. Like, it is taught to them as a set of rules and regulations. And when children find it difficult to comprehend why this is true, why a rule or regulation is true, they are forced to internalize the concepts using more and more drills, more and more exercises that come in. This is true when we're teaching somebody multiplication tables. This is true when we're trying to teach somebody the definition of geometrical shapes and patterns. This is true when we're trying to teach somebody the business mathematics, right? As of now, your child is certainly young based on the concepts you believe it is okay. But if they continue learning the way that they are learning, it gets difficult for them to retain the math knowledge that they acquire, because for them it is only for writing the exams. And because they see these math concepts as a disjoint set of facts and they don't find a reason why it is true, they start hating this subject because they're forced to learn it through rote learning, and they fail to make those connections. And what we noticed is when children are moving through one grade segment to the other, like they learn similar concepts in KG to 2nd standard, then they move to 3rd, 5th. Around this time, there are at least 30% children who start fearing mathematics, and this number only increases as they go up. Now, to avoid all those, the best thing that the parents can do and the teachers can do is introduce mathematics to children in the right manner, which means they should start early, they should start young. Now, when it comes to QMath classes, how is it different is that we make sure that they are engaged and motivated to learn. The multiple formats that we are using, that workbooks, tablets and puzzle cards plus Mathbox activities, make sure that the child is engaged with the learning process. And these things keep changing, right? And these students learn twice as faster as compared to the average school, because there are limited number of people in the class and the teacher can focus on them if it's required. In fact, we focus more on the younger children because they need more help in terms of learning the math concepts that are getting introduced to them. And there is a probability that in the span of 10 months from the time they start, the pace at which they learn to solve problems will be 1.6 times as compared to the student who's going to the school and not getting any other help outside the school system. Now, these are certain things that you should consider, and also it is a good time for you to start focusing on building a very strong math foundation for your daughter, because this becomes the platform, or this becomes the kind of foundation for the more complex concepts that they learn as they grow and they start learning mathematics in the higher grades.
Well, though I like QMath as a program in the field of math learning avenues, but then my son is already going to a lot of extracurricular activities like badminton, karate, and swimming. So I am not very sure how much time he can devote to a program like yours.
Right. I see that he's very busy right now,
Mm-hmm.
and he has got a lot of activities to catch up.
Yes, he does.
Can you repeat the activities he's going to? You said he's going to badminton,
Badminton,
okay.
karate, and swimming.
badminton, karate, and swimming. So he's going to karate, of course, because you want to help him build that physical capability and get stronger.
Yes.
Badminton and swimming because you want him to be exposed to sports. See, for children who are usually this young and who are still in their formative ages, extracurricular activities outside the school are very important, because the single most important thing for any student or any parent actually is for their child to develop holistically, right? It's as if you're picking up various ingredients for the success of your son's or daughter's future. Isn't that true? Now, as an organization who's been in the field of education for a long time, who believes in the holistic development of children, we know there are three things that you should invest in for a great future of your child. One, of course, is the academics part of it, the education, which the school probably is giving already for the concepts that are necessary. Second is their physical development, which of course includes your karate that you're giving them, the badminton. Sports focus on physical development, the flexibility, muscle strength, and of course the higher abilities like motor skills, fine and gross motor skills, etc. The third thing that you should also focus on is the creative endeavors that they should learn, like the creative skills that they can acquire. Sports cater to it to some point, or learning an additional language can help. In some cases, I know of parents who send them to singing classes and dancing classes, etc. Looking at the schedule that your son is going through right now, I think most of the time that you're investing of your son is into physical development, right? You're teaching him karate, you're teaching him badminton classes, swimming classes. I'm pretty sure he enjoys all of them. But you should also start helping him out at least with one activity each for academics and creativity, right? That's something you should focus on. Now, if that is QMath, it is really great because QMath caters to both of them. Even let's say it is not QMath right now and you have other plans, start picking at least one activity each for academics and creativity part of it. Now, let's say if it is QMath, I'll show you how this helps them improve the academics and the creativity skills. Now, the QMath curriculum itself focuses not just on teaching, let's say, math concepts for the grade that your child is going through. It also focuses on mathematical thinking. Basically, we teach them aptitude skills, and the puzzle cards that we're talking about are created in a manner to develop the creative thinking, the ability to solve the same problem using multiple approaches, or in some cases finding multiple solutions to the same problem at hand using the information that is provided. The second thing is they learn through reasoning when they are at QMath. That is, they will not simply say, okay, fine, 3 plus 4 is equal to 7. They'll be able to ask, why is 3 plus 4 equal to 7? Or you tell them that sum of three angles in a triangle are 180 degrees. Instead, they will ask why, or what is the proof. Now, when they learn through reasoning, now that skill of learning through reasoning is highly transferable. They can apply the same skill even when they're learning, let's say, badminton, or they are learning swimming, or they're going through learning something like chess or painting. Now, the skill is very highly transferable, and it's very difficult to teach that skill as a standalone. As an addition, of course, we focus on academics as well, that there'll be a very strong foundation that leads to long-term success, which of course is very much important for your child because he's still under the 5th grade right now and has to learn higher grade mathematics as they go forward, and that becomes an advantage to them at a later point. So if you're thinking of course, giving him at least one more activity which focuses on both academics and creativity, I strongly recommend QMath.